Hello, I'm Dr. Carlo Carandang, and I'm a psychiatrist. Today, I will answer a question about, can alcohol help stage fright? Initially, alcohol can help with stage fright, which is also known as performance anxiety. Stage fright is when you have a fear of performing in front of an audience. And if you do get up in front of people, such as give a speech, presentation, play music, or sing, then this can give you a panic attack as you are so fearful that you might embarrass yourself in front of them, or they might make fun of you when you are performing in front of them. So stage fright is also known as performance anxiety. So you can see why alcohol can take the edge off initially. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, and it helps to calm your nerves. So when you have panic attacks occurring while you're giving a presentation or when you're singing, such as your voice quivering or your knees trembling or your muscles being tense or you're sweating and your heart it feels like it's going to pound right out of your chest because it's pounding so hard and it's racing your heartbeat, then these physical symptoms of the adrenaline response that's coursing through your body in response to your anxiety, this adrenaline response then is detrimental to your performance, and you are not either able to start your performance or you might have it interrupted because you have a lump in your throat or your chest is pounding or you feel like you're going to faint and your knees are going to give up because they're trembling so hard. So those are some of the problems, some of the physical symptoms of stage fright that is detrimental to performances. So alcohol can take the edge off initially, as it is a CNS depressant, as alcohol is effective at taking away your nervousness and your anxiety, initially anyways. However, the problem with alcohol is that, for one thing, in some people it actually disinhibits you. So for those people that get disinhibited by alcohol, then that would actually make your performance worse, because top level performances, when you're performing in front of people, especially when people are paying to see you or there is a crowd seeing you just to see you perform, then you want to be at the top of your game and not be disinhibited by alcohol. So that's one problem with alcohol, that it can disinhibit you. Another problem with alcohol is that you can develop what's called tolerance to the effects of alcohol. So that means that if you initially have anxiety and jitteriness and you drink alcohol and it helps to calm your nerves, then what happens is with each successive drink, each time you drink alcohol to help calm your nerves, then what happens is each successive time the effects of alcohol actually wears off, and you actually, with each successive drink, get less and less calming of your nerves. So in other words, alcohol then becomes less effective with each drink that you take. So this is known as dependence. So that's a problem. So let's say alcohol works for you and then you keep using it with each performance you have. However, it becomes less effective with each use that you take of it. So that's the paradox of the effects of alcohol, that it no longer becomes effective for dealing with your anxiety. And that's why we don't prescribe alcohol to calm your nerves, because of this problem with dependence. The problem with alcohol is the issue with tolerance. With each successive drink that you take, then it becomes less and less effective. So again, that's tolerance. The other problem with alcohol is dependence. So dependence is when you seek out a drug. So you seek out alcohol to the detriment of other things in your life, such as your relationships, your job, your financial situation. So when you become dependent on alcohol, you seek it out to the detriment of every other important thing in your life. So this is called dependence. And so this is very detrimental. And that's another problem with alcohol. So with both the problems with tolerance and dependence, you then become addicted to alcohol. So then it becomes an alcohol abuse problem. And then that becomes a separate problem from the initial reason why you started using the alcohol in the first place, which was to calm your nerves before performances. So now, in addition to having to get help for your performance anxiety, your stage fright, you also now need help for your alcohol abuse, which is a separate treatment and requires a separate type of treatment, which requires 12-step programs, and you might need therapy. You might also need to see a doctor to help detox you and to treat your other comorbid conditions such as your anxiety disorder. So what I'm trying to say is that alcohol is not a good idea to take the edge off your nerves when you have performance anxiety. Fortunately, there are much more effective ways to treat your performance anxiety, your stage fright. You can engage in cognitive behavioral therapy. It's also known as CBT. There are also natural supplements you can consider to address your performance anxiety. If your performance anxiety only occurs when you're in front of an audience and you only perform infrequently, then you might be a candidate for beta blockers, a prescription medication in a class called beta blockers, such as propranolol. So if you take propranolol 25 to 50 milligrams 1 hour before your performance, then it takes care of those physical symptoms of anxiety, such as the increased heart rate, the sweating, the trembling voice, quivering voice, the trembling knees. So it takes care of those physical symptoms if you take the propranolol, which is a beta blocker, 1 hour before your performance. And then so if you only have performances maybe once or twice a year, then beta blockers might be a good idea for you. So visit your doctor if you think this might be a good option for you. And with regards to other prescription medications, antidepressants don't work for performance anxiety because performance anxiety only occurs in discrete situations, whereas these antidepressants such as SSRIs and SNRIs like Zoloft, Prozac, and Effexor, these things can help you when you have social anxiety disorder, which is a fear of social situations and you fear being scrutinized in social situations. But stage fright is a discrete form of social anxiety, so it only occurs when you're in front of an audience. So antidepressants aren't really effective for performance anxiety because of the discrete nature of the episodes with stage fright. Some doctors prescribe benzodiazepines such as Ativan or Klonopin for addressing the stage fright, the performance anxiety, right before you give a performance. However, the problem with benzodiazepines is that you can also develop dependence and tolerance on benzodiazepines, and it does have an addictive potential like alcohol. However, there is less of a risk for addiction to benzodiazepines than there is to alcohol. However, if possible, it's just best not to even consider a benzodiazepine, given the risks for abuse. I'll bet it is the potential for abuse with benzodiazepines is less than that for alcohol. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Carlo Carindang, and I hope this answers your question.